More Than a Medical Chart, the Sacred Fire Vertical Bar Fragile Warrior Storytime EP. 5. Hey beautiful souls, it's Fragile Warrior here. Welcome back to this sacred space we create together. Before we begin today's journey, I want you to notice your breath for a moment. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs, this miraculous exchange that connects you to everything around you. Now imagine all the times this breath has caught in your throat, during moments of grief, of fear, of wondering if this world is too much to bear. In healthcare, we're taught to check vital signs, to monitor oxygen levels, to ensure the mechanics of breathing continue. But how often do we acknowledge the moments when the soul itself feels like it can't breathe? When the weight of witnessing suffering becomes almost too heavy to carry? Today's story emerges from one of those moments. A gray morning when the pain I witnessed in those I serve collided with the suffering I saw in my personal life, leaving me questioning everything I thought I knew about healing, about purpose, about the sacred contract between body and soul. So take a deep breath with me. Feel your lungs expand. And remember as you listen, this story isn't happening to someone else. It's happening to us. Because I am you, and you are me, and together we're healing the collective memory bank with each story we share. This is Fragile Warrior Storytime, More Than a Medical Chart. Let's wake up together. The rain outside mirrored the grayness within. It was 10 a.m., and I was wrapped in a blanket, scrolling through a phone filled with the weight of someone else's troubles. My cousin's girlfriend situation was a familiar ache, a reminder of the pain that permeates the world. Gratitude for my own blessings was a quiet undercurrent, but a persistent question echoed in my mind. What happens when the soul grows weary of its earthly vessel? What happens when the body, through the trials and errors of life, can no longer carry the soul's precious cargo? This question, as old as time, has been wrestled with by philosophers and theologians for centuries. Plato envisioned the soul as a charioteer struggling to control the unruly horses of the body. The Bible tells of Elijah, a mighty prophet, who in a moment of despair wished for death. Even those closest to the divine can feel the crushing weight of earthly existence. And C.S. Lewis wisely observed that God allows these little Christs, these broken vessels, so that we may learn compassion, so that we might recognize the divine spark even in the most shattered forms. As a medical professional, I've witnessed how our current healthcare paradigm often addresses only the physical manifestation of disease while neglecting its deeper origins. We live in a world that often feels hostile to our very being. The air we breathe can betray us. The water we drink can harm instead of heal. And the constant pressures of modern life can leave us feeling depleted and disconnected. I wondered about God's plan in all of this. Was there a universal plan for restoration? Or were we simply left to navigate this broken world as best we could, hoping for another chance if we were fortunate enough to receive it? What I've come to understand through my years in healthcare is that true healing begins not with the physical intervention, but with a fundamental shift in consciousness. The mind must first believe healing is possible. The system, both the body's internal intelligence and our external medical frameworks, must make space for the spirit to initiate the reprogramming of cells. This isn't New Age fantasy, but the frontier where quantum physics meets medical science, where our thoughts, beliefs, and declarations create biochemical realities. I felt a deep yearning for a place of peace, a refuge from the pain and suffering that surrounded me. Like the ancient Gnostics, I felt the soul longing for its true home. Like Carl Jung's concept of individuation, I felt the need to journey towards wholeness. Would I hear the words, "Well done, good and faithful servant," or the chilling dismissal, "I never knew you"? The parable of the talents reminded me that we are called to use the gifts we have been given. And perhaps the most important of those is love, the ability to see the divine in ourselves and others. Then, in the midst of this seeking, in the midst of feeling utterly lost and desperate, something shifted. I lay down and I sought. I knocked and the door opened. It wasn't an external door, but an internal one, a gateway to deeper understanding. Yeshua revealed so much, starting a process of purification. not through sacrifice, as I had previously understood it, but through the sacred fire, a cleansing, transformative process. It was a burning away of old misconceptions, a refining of my understanding. He opened my eyes to the fact that his words had been misunderstood, even intentionally so, by the church. This was a profound realization. My questioning, my persistent search for truth, was not a sign of doubt, but a crucial part of my journey. It was the fire that burned away the dross, revealing a clearer, more personal understanding. I was right to question. This revelation transformed how I approach my work in healthcare. I began to see that healing isn't just about treating symptoms, but about sending healing through decrees and commands instead of reinforcing sickness through thoughts and words. The body responds to the frequencies we emit. To speak life is to create life at the cellular level. In the quiet moments with those entrusted to my care, I started to notice how differently healing unfolds when we approach it with this consciousness. A simple shift from fighting the disease to calling forth wholeness creates a tangible change in the healing environment. The body knows how to heal. It's designed for restoration, but it needs a consciousness aligned with that truth rather than one mired in fear and limitation. This experience taught me the importance of active seeking. It's not enough to passively accept what we're told. We must engage with spiritual teachings critically, thoughtfully, and with a deep sense of personal discernment. True spiritual understanding comes not from blindly following dogma, but from actively seeking, questioning, and ultimately finding our own truth. It's a journey of personal revelation, guided by our intuition and our connection to the divine. It's a journey of liberation, freeing ourselves from limiting beliefs and embracing our authentic selves. And sometimes it's in the depths of despair, when we feel most lost, that we are closest to finding our way. It's in those moments that the door opens and the sacred fire begins its work. What I now understand with profound clarity is that healing, true transformative healing, is possible, but it begins with the mind believing, the system making way, and the spirit initiating a fundamental reprogramming at the cellular level. Our words become flesh, quite literally, as our declarations of health or illness program our biological systems. This isn't mystical thinking. It's the frontier of epigenetics and psychoneuroimmunology, fields that are finally catching up to what ancient wisdom traditions have always known. In my practice now, I'm careful about the words I use. I don't fight disease, I call forth wholeness. I don't battle illness, I decree health. I've witnessed remarkable transformations when this consciousness permeates the healing space, when both practitioner and patient align their beliefs with the possibility of restoration rather than the inevitability of decline. This sacred fire continues to purify my understanding, burning away the limitations of conventional medical thinking while preserving its valuable contributions. It's not about rejecting science, but expanding it to include the profound impact of consciousness on physical reality. It's about recognizing that the most advanced medical interventions are amplified when paired with the powerful medicine of belief, decree, and spiritual alignment. And perhaps that's what happens when the soul grows weary of its earthly vessel. Not an ending, but an invitation to a deeper beginning. Not a failure, but a fierce reclaiming of what matters most. A reminder that healing begins with the Word, just as life itself did in the beginning. Beautiful souls, as we sit with this journey through the sacred fire, I invite you to consider how your own thoughts and words might be programming the very cells of your body, for restoration or for continued struggle. Perhaps you're a healthcare professional who senses there's more to healing than what's taught in medical school. Maybe you're someone navigating illness, feeling the tension between conventional treatments and intuitive knowing. Or perhaps you're walking alongside a loved one through their health journey, searching for ways to support their wholest healing. What's most powerful about this experience of the sacred fire is that it reminds us that transformation rarely happens in comfort. It happens in the questioning, in the seeking, in the moments when we allow ourselves to move beyond what we've been taught to what we know to be true in our deepest being. In a healthcare system that often separates body from spirit, that treats symptoms rather than people, there's revolutionary power in reuniting what was never meant to be divided, in recognizing that our thoughts, our beliefs, our very consciousness shapes our physical reality in ways science is only beginning to understand. So what will you do with your own sacred fire? Will you allow it to purify your understanding of healing? Will you let it illuminate the deep connection between mind, body, and spirit? Will you permit it to burn away the limiting beliefs that keep you from experiencing wholeness? Whatever role you play in this world, healthcare professional, patient, caregiver, human being, know that your consciousness is not separate from your physical experience. Your beliefs are not abstract concepts, but living instructions to your cellular intelligence. Your words are not merely expressions, but creations, literally programming your biological reality. If this story awakens something in your heart, share it in the comments. Your voice, your questions, your sacred fire is part of this awakening too. Until our next journey together, this is Fragile Warrior reminding you, I am always loving you. I am always feeling you. I am you, and you are me. We are one. Stay conscious, beautiful souls.